Hey guys, it's PW and we're back out in the garage. Finally, right? Psh, it's been a minute, but you don't want to hear about that. We need to get this tail light tray changed on this Nova. Figured we'll do it together. I've never done it, but we're gonna figure it out. And I kind of have a plan rolling. I was gonna run it by you guys and we're gonna get into it. It's getting kind of dark. I just got off of work. I'm just getting the job set up. So it's gonna be over the course of a couple days for me. But as this is a video, it's going to be seamless for you guys, or at least I'm going to do my best to make it that way. So the first thing I wanted to do was get the areas cleaned out where I can find all the spot welds, okay? And I did that using my wood chisel. And then I got the wire wheel on the big 4-inch grinder, and we got it cleaned up, and we found where I believe all the spot welds are. And you guys can see this is before I started on this side. It's got like tar in here where the rubber seal goes. And this over here, I'm guessing it's seam sealer. It sure looks like seam sealer to me. But I dig as much out as I can with this old chisel. And then after I get as much dug out, then I just use the grinder and get it to this point right here. All right, and we found all the spot welds. So it looks like this is going to sit up behind the quarters, and I'm kind of leaving the quarters on right now. We are replacing both of them. Everybody already knows that this one's a train wreck that somebody else did. We're going to do the full quarter up into the sail and everything, but right now we're doing the taillight tray. So we want to keep everything, the structure of the car together, so that it kind of lines up. At least I think it's going to line up the way we need it to. All right, these gutter pieces, they call them gutter brackets, they're available new, but ours are in really good shape except for the last 2 inches at the bottom. So once I get this off, we'll trim those off and weld new pieces onto the bottom. You can see in here how this one, I don't know, you can't really see, and I don't have a flashlight out here. It's just rotted off, but it's only like the bottom part. And I want to leave it welded to the old quarter for now on both sides and just remove it from the taillight tray so that when we put this back together, everything lines up real nice. This is a new deck lid. It doesn't look new because I got primer all over it, but it was new. And it doesn't quite fit as good as the old one does, so I may put the old deck lid back on when we're fitting up the new piece. And I haven't decided yet if I want to just repair the old one and maybe just sell this one or whatever. But I remember Dan had the same kind of problem when he did the Camaro. They just don't fit right. They got a kind of like a, I don't know how to explain it, like a bubble or something. I don't know. But you guys can see the taillight tray or package or whatever you want to call it, the taillight tray I call it, it's pretty screwed up. I mean, the whole bottom is rotted off. And if you look at this, the amount of body filler in here is over 1/4 of an inch. So this is all just body filler in here. I mean, it doesn't look bad right up in here or there, and it's probably not, but in through here it's garbage. So we're going to put this nice new one on and start anew. And as I said, I was grinding at this with the wire wheel to find all these spot welds, and we found them all, I think. So it sits behind the quarters, and the quarter kind of wraps around right here. So there's a couple welds in here, and I don't know what they did to attach this new piece of quarter, but we'll figure it out and we'll get it off of there. Because you guys can see, this is just like the inner structure. That's like the quarter wraps around this. So that's what's going on with that. You can see how it's like recessed right here where the quarter panel will sit on there. And we will get to that. But well, I want to get this other side cleaned up, and once I get them cleaned up, I'll bring you guys in, and I'm just going to remove the spot welds, and maybe we'll do some fast forward mode. I don't know, but we're going to work on getting this off together. I was going to get all crazy with this, but with the latch, but it goes right in the middle of the tunnel. And I think what I'll do is I'll just draw a line down in the center of the trunk, in the center of this bracket, before I remove the tray, so that when we attach the trunk latch to the new tray, it goes right back where this one went. Now it's going to be a little easier for us because, guys, I replaced the crossover piece, the trunk pan, the new floors, everything, right? So all this stuff's already detached. But somebody that just wants to do the taillight tray, you're gonna have spot welds all down through here, if they even exist anymore because of the rot. And once you start digging in, you're gonna notice all the sandwich pieces. You got a crossover piece, the trunk pan, and after the trunk pan, you're gonna have this. So you got all kinds of pieces that are all pinch welded together. And you'll have to deal with all that if you're not replacing or haven't replaced all the other stuff that we have replaced. All right, guys, well, you can see where we ran our spot weld drill down through here, and I got the obvious ones. I just drilled at them. You've seen me do this before. Instead of using a center punch, I use a small drill to make a divot, and then we come in with our spot weld drill and we drill them. I'm not going to try to chisel it this way. I wanted just to do this just to kind of get at them a little bit while there's still structure here. So I think what we want to do next is we'll get the plasma cutter out, and I'll cut along here and down, and I'm just going to cut straight here, and we're going to get the bulk of it out. And once we have the bulk of it out, then we'll meticulously try to get the metal separated. Now, we are changing the quarter panels, so I could come in here and just do a complete destruction job, but I don't want to do that. I want to use the old quarters to kind of line this light tray up. That's the way my brain tells me to do it. That's what I'm doing. So that way, once we get this in and we get it all spot welded in all the way across our floor pan, and we spot weld our crossover piece, it'll be nice and solid. Then we can use this for helping to align our quarters, if that makes sense. To me, in my brain, it does. Now, you guys can see, like, if you look at the new piece, it's like right along here is right along here on the inside, and then you can see how it has, when it just kind of shoots right over, it comes out a little bit and shoots right over, and our quarter panel actually sits right here, the new quarter panel, and it'll come up in. That's why when I cut this out, I'm going to cut straight down through here, and then we'll meticulously remove this. I did shine a light in there and I was looking, but you guys can see, I think, let me show you right there how it is. It's all the interior parts are all there. The exterior is like 99% quarter panel, except for like right here, they probably filled it with weld or whatever. I don't know. Man, look at the dust on my car from sanding on this old car. I probably should pull it out when I do that, but the ground's a little too wet. I'll just have to give that thing a bath, that's all. I'm not grinding any rust, so it's no big deal. All right, so let me get the plasma cutter out, and we'll cut this off out through here, and like I said, we'll get the bulk of it out. Oh, by the way, I mentioned, and I did do it, just put a little pencil mark. You guys can see I got a little pencil mark right here and right here where our striker's gonna go. All right, I was gonna put the new deck lid on. I'm not even worried about that right now because we're not removing the quarters. So once I get the old one off and we attach the striker to the new one, and we get this in there, then I'll worry about lining up the hood, or excuse me, not the hood, the trunk lid, the deck lid, before I spot weld it to the floor and everything. We'll make sure it all lines up. That's when I'll do that job. Okay, guys, it's the little surprises, right? So you guys can see what we're doing here. We plasmaed it out, and when I got to here, we hit a lead pocket. I didn't realize it was lead. It looked like steel. I thought somebody had just welded it, but I had it polished, and it just looked like, when I took the paint off looking for spot welds, it didn't look like lead, but it was lead. You guys can see it. It popped out when I cut through it. Not a big deal. It's not the healthiest thing in the world, but it didn't get me, so we're good. So I can only assume the same thing's here, so maybe I should get my torch, my propane torch, and I'll heat that up and drip that out before I cut this side. Alright guys, let's see if there's any lead in there. We'll melt this out. You can see how it looks like it's just metal. And it could be, because you could see where somebody welded right here when they put their quarter panel job on there. So I'm not sure what's here, but let's figure it out. Alright, yeah, there's a big pile of lead, guys. Right there. Get that off of there. Stay, but it's better to get it off there before we cut this time. That's a lot safer for us. Okay guys, well you can see the tail light tray's out. Okay, so now we just got to work on getting these rest of the pieces off and separated from the quarter panel on both sides. You can see like the quarters are loose, but I mean we can use it to help us to get this lined up. That's what that's the last use of these quarters before they come off. But anyway, you guys saw the lead come out and all that stuff, and you see how my plasma cutter, it kept stalling out every inch and a half or so. The tip's bad. I need to replace it. I mean, it's been on there for like 2 years, but I'm just getting every bit of life out of it, right? So I'm looking at this, and I don't know if it's going to be worth my time to repair this and separate this metal versus getting new gutter brackets, I think they call them. And I'll go in and look and see how long they take to get here. And if they're here in a couple days, maybe I'll get them, because it's going to rain tomorrow. And that way, maybe we just take them off and put new ones on. I don't know, because these, I mean, it only take me a couple minutes to fix the bottom of this, and the rest of these are really good shape. But, you know, like, what kind of shape are they going to be in when I take this metal out? I mean, you know, I don't know. We'll see, you know. Something for me to think about for the next couple days. Okay, guys, well, you can see I did go ahead and order they call them gutter brackets. And the reason why is I'm just afraid that, you see how flimsy this all is now that everything's cut loose, that trying to separate this with the chisel, we're just going to distort it and everything else. And man, this is a really high quality part. It looks like it's going to fit perfectly in there whenever I get the old one off. It just looks like a perfect match. And like I said, I really like the AMD stuff. I'm having a lot of success with it. So let me get my chisel out. We already got all the spot welds drilled, and it seems like it's almost ready to come. I think it's just going to need a little help with the chisel. I got a pair of pliers, and I just want to kind of bend at this because it's kind of bent around. It's really close. It's off there. It just looks like it's almost ready to come off. It's just going to need a little bit of help. It might just be. There we go. It's all detached there. Just a little bit right here. It's very close. I guess I could get a grinder and grind at it as well. Try not to, I don't want to distort this too much, but you guys can see. Let me get the air chisel. It's detached from the side right here. It's got it a little tiny bit here and maybe a little tiny bit here, but I think a couple hits with the air chisel will finish it off. It's almost ready to come off. There's like one weld there that's kind of tough. I could probably drill at it a little bit, I guess, right here in this corner. It's probably best to try to do that instead of destroying it. You guys see how quick the air chisel works, but it will do a lot of damage if you're not careful. A lot of guys will make a slide bar out of flat bar and chisel the end and just hammer them in there, and that's another way if you don't have an air chisel to get these off. But let me see if I can put a drill, make a pilot real quick. Just to see. Looks like it's right here. It's in this corner. It's kind of, we've already got one of them drilled out. Alright. That's pretty good. It's a little higher than it was, I guess, but it might come undone because if we have enough on our I have two types of drills I use for removing these spot welds. This cheaper one, believe it or not, it's actually a lot better for getting them off. Them are more expensive than other ones. They're roto cuts, I think they're called, but they're okay, but they burn up and get hot real quick. These ones I bought from Amazon, it's only like $10 or something, and they give you a whole bunch of these, but I don't even go through the hole saws. These get bent because they're kind of cheap built. The little centerpiece kind of starts to bend a little bit on them, and they get screwed up, but they make short work of these spot welds. See how quick that undid that? It's still attached a little bit right there. So let's do one more. That should just about fall off. But like I said, I don't want to distort the quarter too much. It's not going to be perfect, but we got to be able to try to line up the new tail light tray. Pretty much Swiss cheese. So it's a good thing we are replacing the quarter, because if not, we would try to drill from the bottom, which you really can't, because now you got Swiss cheese. If I was to reuse that quarter, I would be making a new piece to weld in there, you know. So that's the pitfall of taking spot welds out. There's nothing left here, guys. It's about all gone. That's what we got. Bit of a still kind of attached to the old tail light tray, but there it is. All right, now obviously, guys, we could separate this channel piece from the old tail light tray, sand this up, and we could weld a new piece on the bottom. And if you're on a budget, you know, you can definitely reuse this. I think this was $35 for the new one, and they're really nice parts. It lines right up. You see that? But we're gonna go with the new guy. All right. So now we want to work on getting the rest of the old tail light tray out of here. You guys can see it's still attached through here and down underneath here into the quarter. All right, I don't see any spot welds right here on this vertical. I only seen the two down here. So we're going to see how much of it separates. And as you use the air chisel on this stuff, it does expose where there still may be some welds. All right, so I'm just going to go after it with the air chisel. Maybe I better take this old tail light tray off of here. Let's see here. So I'm gonna bring it over here. I gotta kind of get behind here and see if I sort of get at this a little bit. It still has it a little tiny bit when this one where it's welded. So I'm going to drill this one a little bit more, and that piece should come off. All right, without too much trouble. I'm sorry bouncing you guys around. I don't know how much of this you guys are seeing, but it's like I'm just removing metal. So, all right. Still has it. See, that weld sometimes they'll skip, and when they're doing them spot welds, a little bit could hold you up pretty good. I got it. Almost got it. I don't think we really did any damage, maybe a little tiny bit, but I could straighten up with a hammer and dolly. Like I say, if you get real close to it like this, you could also use a grinder to get at it, to try to, like if you're trying to meticulously, we know we're changing our quarter panels, so do we have to be absolutely perfect? No, but we're using it as a point of reference. There is still a piece of metal up in here. So I have at least one more spot weld, and I'm guessing there's the rest of the metal. I'm guessing it's probably right about here. So let's drill that and see if we can get that to come out. See if we have any luck in it. I have a little drill bit right here. I guess there's still a little bit of paint on it. I guess that's right. Not really seeing it. I'm gonna guess and say it's like right there. So let's hit that and see if that's it. See, that's kind of loose there. Maybe right here. All right, let's drill that and see what it does. Sounds like my battery's had it. It has. All right, let me get a battery. That's all I needed was a little tiny right there. Oh, that's it. There's not much left in there. Gotta be careful I don't get myself cut on that sharp metal. There's still something has a hold of it. Guess there's a spot weld right here. And there's another one. Like I say, this sometimes they're very small to where, I don't know, it's like you can't really see them, but they're there. And they kind of expose themselves as you're trying to get a piece out. But I think we're right about there. Turning this old quarter panel into Swiss cheese, don't we? And my luck, I put it right beside where it probably was. That's how it goes for me. I'm close. We're in the ballpark. Yeah. Just hanging one right there. There we go. On that piece hanging on to that one little spot right there. Like I say, we'll straighten that up a little bit just to help when we go to align our new piece. So that's the whole top is off of there now. It's just gonna be all right there to help line us up. Kind of janky and junky and everything else. That's not bad. All right, we got to try to get this bottom section off. So I want to run my little chisel along here and see if we can knock any of that out. Because I cannot physically see where there would be any spot welds. Not to say they're not there. we can get anything out of here. See where the quarter panel folds around it. That kind of helps hold it. Look at that. We can, like I said, we can tap this all back after we get it off of there. Same thing here. Like I say, there's probably, we probably have some spot welds on that vertical that I can't see yet, but they're going to start showing themselves. If you had to reuse your quarter panel, you'll probably want to try to drill from the other side, and it would take a lot longer. The opposite of fun. Looks like I do have one there. Let's see here. Yes. See, they just kind of show up when you try to. I had two there, and now I have one right in the middle of that. Obviously, I wouldn't care about any of this except, again, for the 50th time, I'm going to try to use this to sort of line things up. I don't know how well it's going to work now. We've been moving things around, but it'll get us in the ballpark, I think. I don't know. Too late to switch up now. There you go. Have that separated. You guys can see how that's kind of peeling right on out of there now. There's still a little piece. Something's got it here. Whether it's this lip or try to keep my hands out of there. It's looking like there's a weld right there, and then after that we'll take a look at it and see. I think I'm a little too high there. Might want to do another one a little lower. It's kind of tight right there. There's a little weld. There's actually a little weld right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me see if I could drill at that. I'd rather do that than get the grinder out, because I think there's still like remnants of lead right there. I don't want to be messing with that too much. And that's tough. Hopefully that'll hold that. I don't know if it will or it won't. It's like drilling it right on that corner. Trying to do it by feel. I don't think a drill bit's gonna hold it. No, it's not gonna hold it. Very close to getting all this out. It's all attached to that one spot right there. So let me get my little slice on it with the grinder. You can see I have one more little tiny piece in there where one spot well had it. That was like the rest of the old taillight tray right here. There's one more little tiny piece right here. Let's see if I can get it off of there. It's off. And that's it. The rest of this, you know, it's like put it back the best you can. I got this pulled out, but it'll tell me where the new tray has to go. All right, guys. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing on that side, and there's no sense in you guys watching me go through all that nonsense. So I'll be back when it's off. Guys, we got the metal off from the leftover pieces from the old taillight tray. And before we go fitting up to put the new taillight tray on, I don't know if many of you guys remember, we put the crossover piece in, and we were waiting to weld the final lip from the trunk pan to the crossover piece. You can see here where we got to weld this lip right here to the pan, and we got to do that before we put the taillight tray on, and then we'll weld the taillight tray the same way. And we're going to use the spot welder. You guys seen me do this many times. You get them from Harbor Freight, and the Harbor Freight ones only have like a 1/8 inch tips on them, so the welds are a little smaller. But Dawn over at the Hot Rod Garage showed us that you could just file a little bit off the tips, and you turn an 1/8 inch spot weld into a 1/4 inch spot weld, and it works great. You guys can see I have one there, and I did one there. This one was practicing it, and that's whenever I had to realize I had to take the paint all the way off. So I'm gonna continue on. I'm putting welds in between these clamps the best I can, and then we'll take the clamps off and put another set right there just to get it welded in nice and tight. But that's how we're making our spot welds. You guys can check it out for a minute. I'll do a couple, and then I'll bring you guys back in after that. All right. You know, these things are big and bulky and heavy, but they get the job done. Right? That's the main thing. So we go the whole way in, then we pull it back a little bit, squeeze her up, and once you count to 10, go to about 10 seconds. And then we're pretty sure it's good and welded. Hold it for another second or two till it cools enough. Let her go. We got a nice weld there. We'll just keep doing the same thing here. I like to see it glowing red, you know. Count to 10, let her cool down. All right. Looks like I could put another one right there. That clamp's pretty far away. Come out a little bit. Alright. Put one on this side, then we'll take the clamps off. Put another row in. You guys take a quick look at that. There you go. One there, there. You see that? So now what I'll do is I'll pop these clamps off. I'm going to put some more in, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and obviously in the middle. And once I get these all spot welded up, I'll bring you guys back in. And at that point, I think we'll have to take this striker piece off of the old one, and then we could set this new light tray in place. I think I might set this in place before I put that on. Remember, we have it marked, and we have a pencil mark there, so we get that all lined up correctly. Real quick here, let you take a look and see the job that the spot welder did. I think it did a heck of a good job. You know, you could leave the tips, I guess, to 1/8 inch, and you could just put double rows. I like doing it the way Don does it. It really seems like it comes out great. Let me show you the bottom real quick so you guys can see it. It definitely penetrates, and it's welded. You can feel the little divots where it's in. If you guys can see that all the way down through there. It's welded the whole way across. I'm very happy with that, satisfied. At this point, I want to put some of that zinc weld through primer on both sides and then let that dry for a couple hours. It looks like we're going to have a storm coming in. The wind's whipping up, so we'll wait for that to pass. They keep calling for a thunderstorm, so we'll wait for that to pass and let this primer set up, and then we'll be ready to get that striker piece off the old taillight pan or tray, excuse me, and we'll be ready to put the new one in and get it fitted up. I'm just cleaning up, guys. I just set that in there. I didn't wrestle it or nothing, and I just put some clamps on there. I was just cleaning up the area and bringing everything in before it rains, and I just laid right in there. These AMD parts are really nice. Now obviously I gotta, you know, do a little tweaking, but not too much. You know, it lines up pretty good. So all right, we'll pick us up whenever the weather decides it wants to cooperate. All right, guys, well, it's the next day. I added a couple clamps, and I just got my gutter brackets. They're just sitting in here, and they fit really nice. I mean, you can see like where the old one was. You can see the paint line right there. I mean, we're within a 1/16 of an inch. That thing's right where it's supposed to be. And over here, it's a little bit like a 1/4 inch overlap here, and but it's right on the money up here. So I think it's good. You know, it's like we're gonna be able to weld them right to the floor. You know, you can see right there where it goes on. Same thing over there on that side. And I'm looking at it, and you see how the brace of the light fits right where it's supposed to be. Now I have this bent out a little bit, but that's sitting right on that crease on that one, and even on this one where it was fooled with when they messed with the 1/4. You can see where they had their weld right here. It's right. This is exactly where the other one was. So I'm going to call that good. You know. I think now what I want to do is I got to pull this bracket off. I could have bought one of those too, but this one's in such great shape. But I think I'm just going to grind it off so that I don't put any holes in it, so I could spot weld it to the lip, just like it is here. You can see it's got a little surface rust on it. I got a buddy, he's got one of those sandblaster cabinets. I think I'll just take it to him and get it sandblasted off real quick. I have sandblasting stuff here, but I think all I have right now is soda. I don't have any walnut shell or anything, and that ends up being a big mess anyway. My buddy's got a cabinet, so we'll do that. So let me get this cut off and cleaned up. We'll set it to the side, and then I think we could work on installing these brackets, and we could put the spot welds across the trunk pan to the taillight tray. But I'm
pretty excited. I mean, you're not going to get it any closer than what it is. And once I get these tacked on, I might put like a temporary tack on each one of these sides, because that way we could just bring the deck lid down when we're ready and kind of fit that up. But I think everything's going to be just fine. You know, you can see that now that this is out of the car, the pencil line's right in the middle of this slotted hole, and then our line over here it's a little bit off to the side of the tunnel, but that's where it sits. You know, like I say, we put this in and lined everything up, as you know, it's as straight as we can get it. You know, you can see where the deck lid right here is straight. And remember, we had a little bit of problem in that other video with that crossover piece. It wanted to go that way a little bit. So I don't know if this trunk pan was a little janky or what, but you can see how everything fits where it's supposed to. So I don't know. I'm happy with it. So let me grind that off real quick.
I don't want to get sparks on my camera. I just drilled them off. It was easier than trying to destroy it with the grinder. So I'll do a little tiny weld repair there. I didn't go through, but I went into it a little bit. A couple zaps, that'll be fine. But like I say, I'll get this thing media blasted, but it's going to fit real nice. Yeah. These little sides, they hook into the thing. They kind of tell you where they go up top, and lines up right there. I'm sorry, I don't know how good this filming is right here, but that's going to be just fine. And I put a score line with the grinder right there, because I'll take that apart when I media blasted the internal piece that the latch comes down and hooks on right there. So we'll just set that to the side for right now. Let's tackle these brackets right here, huh? Let me unclip this, and we'll pop a couple holes in the bottom, because we're going to have to plug weld those bottoms to the trunk pan. And we could probably put a spot welds up here. We'll see. Take this off. Yeah. So let me just I'll put a couple of these. You guys seen me use this thing before. You just got to be careful that you don't get your finger in there, because it also has one of those lip makers on the side. But we don't want to go. We want them towards the end. I think I'll put 4 of them in. I think that'll be fine. All right. And then we'll put those. Let me get that back in there, and I'll plug in the welder, and we'll give it a couple seconds. I'm going to try to put a couple tiny spot welds right here. I put one little tiny MIG tack right there, because we're changing the quarter. We don't want to weld any of that, just to hold it. So let's see if I can get this big bulky thing in there. baby. I think I got it that time. That's a tight spot, man. We got it that time, guys. All right, let me bring you over, show you what we got. I put one little tiny tack here. The camera was off, but I wanted to get that clamp off. Yeah, it's still loose up here because I don't want to weld it to the old quarter, obviously. But we're good. It's tight enough there. And you guys can see down inside here, we put 4 plug welds. And right here, I just did those two spot welds. The first time it didn't take, so I had to bend this up with the pliers so I could get in there to make the weld. But once I did that, it made the weld. It's kind of tough, but we can get it. Now, we want to repeat the process on this side. I got to pull the bracket off, punch a couple holes, and then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, guys, I did the exact same thing on this driver's side that we did over there on the passenger side. I put 4 of the plug welds down here. We spot welded it in here. I did add a little zap of a plug weld right there. I just don't trust it because those tips, I got them filed so big, they weren't fitting in that corner real good. So I just wanted to be positive, so I zapped one over there too. You can see I put a minute little tack there, in there, and I added that one there on that side, just so everything's nice and tight and it's in. All right, I wanted to bring the deck lid down, but let me put this rubber back in real quick, and then we'll take a look at it. And I'll show you how this new deck lid doesn't quite fit right. So I think I might want to put the old one back on. And I'm talking about back there, not our new job here. It's never fit right. Like I said, Dan over there at DD Speed Shop, when he did those Camaros, I remember he had the same problem. It just I don't know. I guess it's the stamping or something ain't right on them new ones. And I've always had great success with AMD stuff, but those are just not right. I don't know what it is. I don't even know where I got that deck lid. I think I got this deck lid at Carlisle last 2 years ago. I don't know. I can't remember what was on the box. I can't remember who made it. I got it from a vendor there. Or I bought a patch for the trunk pan at first. And it wasn't gonna work. I still have that. That's over there behind all that stuff, behind that bolt bin behind the 55 over there. I'll see if I can sell that to somebody. Somebody might want it. It's like the center of a trunk pan. But anyway, you know, we just put the rubber in. It's still got to be snapped in a little better, you know. It takes that 3M glue like we put for the soft seal stuff in the 55, but I'm not gluing nothing right now, and I might get new, we'll see. But this rubber's in really good shape. So if I bring this down, you guys can see, I think we're right where we need to be, right? It's pretty good. And then over here you can see how this must have been hit in, and it's like this is where they welded it, so I can't really trust anything. But you guys can see I already cheated this like between an 1/8 and 3/16 of an inch from where it used to be. It should, but that's where it wants to be to clip into this quarter the way it's supposed to. And you can see like our lip, we're close everywhere where we were, and this whole side has been kind of that way for us, so we're just going to roll with it, like, and we'll adjust the deck lid to fit it, I guess. And obviously we're putting a whole new quarter on, sail and all, so maybe we'll be able to get it a little bit closer. But you can see it's not really, let's see if I can show you,
See that bubble in the middle? See how it's crowned? It's like way up. It's a ½ inch up here in the middle. And it's been that way since it was new, before I disturbed anything. So it's nothing like that. It's just this deck lid. So I think that's what I'm thinking. I need to put the new deck lid on, and then we'll start playing with stuff. But I mean, it just seems to me that this has to go. And you can see right here, see how much bigger this gap is right here than it is down there. So this isn't adjusted right either. So if I loosen them 2 bolts up, I push this back, it'll line right up with the other one. In fact, I may just do that real quick just to see. But I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time if I'm going to use the old deck lid, you know, because none of this is bothering me. It's this big crown in the middle. It's like it goes from flat right here like it's supposed to be, and it's just got this big crown in the middle. And it's wild. I don't know. And I seem to remember the old one fitting a lot better. It just had a lot of cancer. I think it's on one side, like right here. But we could fix it, you know. We could pull that rust off and fix it. So we'll see. But anyway, back to the project at hand. I think at this time we want to clean the paint off of the lip here and under the bottom. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did for the first row of spot welds for the crossover piece to the trunk pan. Now we want to tilt the light tray to the trunk pan. And then we're going to call this pretty much done. Oh, obviously, you guys remember, I'm going to get this media blasted, and we got like 4 spot welds and 4 plug welds, and this will be in, and it'll latch. But it looks like that's where it's going to want to go. All right, let me get this set up for the spot welds. Alright guys, you can pretty much see how that's going to go. So I'll bring you back in and we'll take a look at everything when we get it done. It's kind of tedious, but we'll get there. We got the tail light tray installed. You guys can see we're in our spot welder all the way down. It's really strong. It started to give out right here, and I don't know if there's something wrong with it, or I think the tips are shot, but I gotta look and see. But like, you can see how strong it is here, and it's probably good here, but I didn't quite trust it, so I put little tiny daps there and almost grinded them away. But it's good and strong, man. You can see. Let's look at the bottom real quick together. You guys will be able to see that we're all the way through. Let me grab a flashlight. Put it right there so you guys can look down there. You can see how it's welded all the way across there. It's good and strong. And like I say, I'm going to drop this off and get it I'll get it sandblasted. You can buy these. I could have bought it when I bought those, but there's nothing wrong with this. I'll just get it sandblasted and we'll put it on there. I found these when I was getting the hole puncher. I forgot to put them on. I got to put them on the floor. So in the next video, we'll put those brackets on the inner floor for the back seat. And we'll put this in, just a real short video or something. I don't know, or I'll do it in shorts. But our taillight tray is replaced in our 1970 Nova. I hope you guys got something out of this. I sure did. It's a good learning experience, and it's looking good, man. I mean, we got a new floor, new trunk pan, new rockers, new inner wheel tubs. Next are the quarter panels. So start getting ready to look for quarter panel replacements on this thing. We'll do that job together. I got to get this glass taken out. It was already trashed. What you guys are wondering, well, he was grinding and everything. That glass had grinder dust and dots in it when I got the car, so I'm not worried about it. All right, so if you haven't yet, think about subscribing. I could use it. It doesn't cost you anything, and it sure does help me. So until next time, take care, everybody.